August 14th, 2025, New Orleans, East Louisiana is shaken by a chilling 911 call. Hilda Vasquez, 34, reports her 12-year-old son Bryan Vasquez missing from their Beaucaire Street home. Bryan, nonverbal and autistic, slipped out a bedroom window at 5 a.m. wearing only an adult diaper. The New Orleans Police Department, NOPD, doesn't respond for 5 hours, sparking outrage. Every detail is drawn from NOPD reports, NOLA.com, and WWLTV. A community searches, but a dark truth waits in the shadows. Village de l'Est, a quiet neighborhood, wakes to panic. Hilda, frantic, tells police Bryan climbed out the window, per WDSU. He's nonverbal, needs medication, and doesn't understand English or Spanish, per Louisiana State Police. Doorbell footage catches him at 5:20 a.m., wandering alone near a canal, per WWLTV. By 6:30 a.m., he's seen again on surveillance, steps from a lagoon, per Newsweek. X buzzes, "A vulnerable boy, gone," one user posts. "Find Bryan," another pleads. Vigils begin, candles flickering. The NOPD's delay stings. Hilda's 10 a.m. call, initially logged as a missing adult, is reclassified as a juvenile case, but officers arrive at 3 p.m. per Los Angeles Times. Community members, furious, rally. Neighbors search canals, woods, per NOLA.com. 5 hours? He's autistic, a local tells ABC7 Los Angeles. Hilda, tearful, begs on WDSU for Bryan's return, her voice breaking. Ex-posts demand, "Why no Amber Alert?" Police say no abduction evidence exists, per WWLTV. Why the wait? Bryan's world unravels. Described as bright, charismatic, he loved music, per Renew Schools to WDSU. His autism made him prone to wandering, per Hilda to NOLA.com. The family, new to Beaucaire Street, struggled. Hilda, a single mom with a 2014 cruelty conviction for injuring Bryan, faced scrutiny, per Los Angeles Times. Neighbors saw Bryan's smile light up the trailer, per ABC7 Los Angeles. Now, silence. X shares his photo, a boy in a red shirt grinning. Where did he go? The search surges. Volunteers, United Cajun Navy, and Los Topos from Mexico comb New Orleans east, per NOLA.com. Drones scan canals, bloodhounds sniff trails, per WWLTV. Surveillance shows Bryan near a lagoon 200 yards from home, per WDSU. No footprints, no clothes, nothing else, per NOPD. Hilda's past, fracturing Bryan's head in 2014, raises whispers, per Newsweek. X debates, was he safe at home? The community prays, but fear grows. What happened to Bryan? The lagoon, murky and close, looms large. Surveillance places Bryan there at 6:30 a.m., per Los Angeles Times. Volunteers wade through reeds, airboats hum, per NOLA.com. NOPD's delay fuels anger. Family spokesperson Christine Macelas-Falcardo demands answers, per The Independent. He was vulnerable, she tells WDSU. Hilda, at a vigil, clutches Bryan's photo, per ABC7. X posts rage. NOPD failed him. Police defend, no abduction, no Amber Alert, per WWLTV. But why so slow? Hilda's history darkens the case. Her 2014 conviction, breaking Bryan's legs, head injury, sparks doubt, per NOLA.com. She insists he was kidnapped, per Newsweek. Neighbors recall her love for Bryan, but fights with relatives, per police logs. The trailer, searched August 15, holds toys, a phone, no clues, per WWLTV. X questions, was she involved? NOPD finds no foul play yet, per WDSU. The lagoon's edge, quiet, hides something sinister. The community fractures. Vigils draw 200, candles for Bryan per ABC7. Renew Schools mourns their energetic student per NOLA.com. Volunteers from Louisiana to Texas search tirelessly per United Cajun Navy to WWLTV. Drones spot nothing, dogs lose sense per Newsweek. Hilda's police on TV, tearful, desperate, stir sympathy, but suspicion grows per Los Angeles Times. X posts, something's off. The canal, so close, whispers secrets. Investigators press on. Surveillance shows no strangers near Bryan, per NOPD. A neighbor saw him wander before, always returned, per WDSU. The 5-hour delay, NOPD's system error, per NOLA.com, spurs an internal probe, per Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick. Hilda's phone, seized August 16th, holds no answers yet, per WWLTV. Why no trace beyond the lagoon? Why the delay? The truth's near, but it's buried in the water. August 16th, 2025, New Orleans, East Louisiana pulses with fear and fury. 12-year-old Bryan Vasquez, nonverbal and autistic, vanished from his Beaucaire Street home 2 days ago, slipping out a window at 5 a.m. Surveillance caught him near a canal, then a lagoon, just 200 yards away. The New Orleans Police Department's 5-hour delay in responding ignites outrage, and Hilda Vasquez's dark past fuels suspicion. Every detail is drawn from NOPD reports, NOLA.com, and WWLTV. The lagoon hides a grim truth, and it's creeping closer. Village de la Est is gripped by dread. Bryan, last seen on doorbell footage at 5:20 a.m. August 14th, wore only an adult diaper, wandering toward a canal, per WDSU. His autism made him prone to wandering, per Hilda to Newsweek. By 6:30 a.m., surveillance placed him near a lagoon, per Los Angeles Times. Volunteers swarm New Orleans East, combing reeds and trails, per ABC7 Los Angeles. X buzzes. So close to home, one user posts. NOPD failed him, another fumes. Candles line vigils, glowing faintly. The NOPD's delay stabs deep. Hilda's 911 call at 10 a.m., mislogged as a missing adult, delayed officers until 3 p.m. per WDSU. 5 hours for a vulnerable child? Family spokesperson Christine Rosales Fajardo snaps to The Independent. X erupts West. Why no Amber Alert? NOPD cites no abduction evidence, per WWLTV. Hilda, sobbing on WDSU, begs for Bryan's return, clutching his photo. Neighbors search canals, hearts heavy, per NOLA.com. But Hilda's past casts a shadow. Bryan's light dims. At Renew Schools, he was charismatic, loving music, per WDSU. His seizures required daily medication, left behind, per NOPD. Hilda, a single mom, struggled. Her 2014 conviction for fracturing Bryan's head and legs haunts, per Los Angeles Times. Neighbors saw her dote on him, but fights echoed from their trailer, per police logs. X shares his grin in a red shirt. Was Bryan safe? The lagoon, so close, looms ominously. The search surges. United Cajun Navy and Los Topos from Mexico deploy drones. Bloodhounds sniff to the lagoon, per NOLA.com. Airboats hum, no trace, per WWLTV. Surveillance shows Bryan alone. No strangers, per NOPD. A neighbor saw him wander before, always back, per WDSU. Why not now? Hilda's past, hurting Bryan in 2014, sparks whispers, per Newsweek. X asks, was she involved? The lagoon's silence screams. Hilda's history darkens the mystery. Her 2014 cruelty conviction, breaking Bryan's legs as a toddler, raises red flags, per NOLA.com. She claims he was kidnapped, per Newsweek, but neighbors recall her angry outbursts, per ABC7. NOPD searches her trailer August 15th. Toys, a phone, no leads, per WWLTV. X debates. Did she know something? Police find no foul play yet, per WDSU, but her past lingers. Why was Bryan alone at dawn? The community splinters. Vigils swell to 300. Candles for Bryan. Per ABC7, he was our spark, a teacher tells NOLA.com. Volunteers from Texas and Louisiana search swamps, per WWLTV. NOPD's delay, a system error, per Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, sparks protests, per Los Angeles Times. X rages, 5 hours lost him. Hilda's TV pleas, once moving, draw suspicion. Was she hiding a truth? The lagoon's edge feels cursed. Investigators push harder. Surveillance confirms Bryan at 6:30 a.m. near the lagoon. No one else, per NOPD. A neighbor heard a splash at 6 a.m. August 14th, per police logs. Hilda's phone, seized, shows no calls before 10 a.m., per WWLTV. Why wait to report? Drones scan the lagoon, dogs lose his scent, per Newsweek. The community prays, but fear grows. What pulled Bryan to the water? Why the silence? By dusk, Beaucaire Street is quiet. Vigil candles flickering. Hilda's past, NOPD's failure, and the lagoon's mystery choke hope. Volunteers wade through reeds, finding nothing. Why no trace? Was it an accident or something darker? The truth's sinking, but it's colder than the water. August 18th, 2025, New Orleans, East Louisiana reels under a cloud of suspicion. 12-year-old Bryan Vasquez, nonverbal and autistic, vanished 4 days ago from his Beaucaire Street home. Last seen on surveillance near a lagoon, 200 yards away. The New Orleans Police Department's 5-hour response delay fuels rage, and Hilda Vasquez's 2014 cruelty conviction casts a dark shadow. A neighbor's report of a splash deepens the mystery. Every detail is drawn from NOPD reports, NOLA.com, and WWLTV. The lagoon holds secrets, and they're clawing to the surface. Village del Este is a neighborhood gripped by fear. Bryan, captured on doorbell footage at 5:20 a.m. August 14th, wandered in an adult diaper toward a canal, then a lagoon, by 6:30 a.m. per WDSU. His autism drove him to wander, per Hilda to Newsweek. Volunteers scoured canals, drones buzzing overhead, per ABC7 Los Angeles. X pulses with grief. So close to home, one user posts. NOPD's delay cost him another fumes. Vigils swell, candles flickering on Beaucaire Street, per NOLA.com. The NOPD's failure stings. Hilda's 10 a.m. 911 call, mislogged as an adult missing, delayed officers until 3 p.m., per Los Angeles Times. For 5 hours for a boy who can't speak? Christine Rosales Fajardo demands to The Independent. X rages. Why no Amber Alert? NOPD insists no abduction evidence exists, per WWLTV. Hilda, sobbing on WDSU, clutches Bryan's photo, pleading for his return. But a neighbor's tip, a splash at 6 a.m., haunts, per police logs. What pulled Bryan to the water? Bryan's absence aches. At Renew Schools, he was vibrant, dancing to music, per WDSU. His seizures needed medication, left behind, per NOPD. Hilda, a single mom, loved him fiercely, but her 2014 conviction, fracturing Bryan's head and legs, looms, per Los Angeles Times. Neighbors heard fights in their trailer, per ABC7. X shares Bryan's smile in a red shirt. Was he safe? The lagoon, murky and close, feels like a grave. The search presses on. United Cajun Navy, Los Topos from Mexico, and volunteers from Mississippi comb swamps, per NOLA.com. Bloodhounds trace Bryan's scent to the lagoon, then stop, per WWLTV. Drones see nothing, airboats silent, per Newsweek. Surveillance shows Bryan alone, no strangers, per NOPD. A neighbor saw him wander before, always back, per WDSU. Why not now? Hilda's past fuels suspicion, per Newsweek. X asks, what did she know? Hilda's shadow grows. Her 2014 cruelty conviction, hurting Bryan as a toddler, sparks doubt, per NOLA.com. She claims he was kidnapped, per Newsweek, but neighbors recall her volatile fights, per ABC7. NOPD searches her trailer August 16. Toys, a phone, no clues, per WWLTV. X debates, was Hilda involved? Police find no foul play yet, per WDSU, but her delay in calling, 10 a.m., hours after Bryan's 5 a.m. exit, nags. Why wait? What happened at dawn? The community splinters. Vigils draw 400 candles for Bryan, per ABC7. He was our light, a teacher tells NOLA.com. Volunteers from Texas search canals, per WWLTV. NOPD's delay, a system error, per Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, ignites protests, per the Los Angeles Times. X fumes, 5 hours lost him. Hilda's TV pleas, once stirring, draw scrutiny. Was she hiding something? The lagoon's stillness feels sinister. Investigators dig deeper. Surveillance confirms Bryan at 6:30 a.m. near the lagoon, alone, per NOPD. The neighbor's splash report, 6 a.m. August 14, aligns with footage per police logs. Hilda's phone, seized, shows no calls before 10 a.m. per WWLTV. A neighborhood shouting from her trailer at 4 a.m. per WDSU. Why the silence? Drones scan the lagoon, dogs circle, nothing surfaces, per Newsweek. Was it an accident or something darker? By nightfall, Beaucaire Street is hushed, vigil candles fading. Hilda's past, NOPD's failure, and the lagoon's mystery choke hope. The splash, the delay, the empty trailer, they point to a tragedy. Why was Bryan alone? What lies beneath the water? The truth is rising, but it's colder than the night. August 22nd, 2025, New Orleans, East Louisiana suffocates under grief and suspicion. 12-year-old Bryan Vasquez, nonverbal and autistic, vanished 8 days ago from his Beaucaire Street home, last seen on surveillance near a lagoon 200 yards away. The New Orleans Police Department's 5-hour response delay fuels outrage. Hilda Vasquez's 2014 cruelty conviction darkens trust, and a neighbor's report of a 6 a.m. splash deepens the mystery. Every detail is drawn from NOPD reports, NOLA.com, and WWLTV. The lagoon's truth is rising, and it's chilling. Village de l'Est is a community on edge. Bryan, caught on doorbell footage at 5:20 a.m. August 14th, wandered in an adult diaper toward a canal, then a lagoon by 6:30 a.m., per WDSU. His autism led him to wander, per Hilda to Newsweek. Volunteers comb swamps, drones humming, per ABC7 Los Angeles. X pulses with anger. He was so close, one user posts. NOPD's delay is unforgivable, another fumes. Vigils grow, candles flickering on Beaucaire Street, per NOLA.com. The NOPD's failure burns. Hilda's 10 a.m. 911 call, mislogged as a missing adult, delayed officers until 3 p.m. per Los Angeles Times. For 5 hours for a boy who can't speak, Christine Rosales Fajardo demands to The Independent. X rages. Why no Amber Alert? NOPD cites no abduction evidence, per WWLTV. Hilda, tearful on WDSU, pleads for Bryan's return. But the splash report, 6 a.m., August 14th, haunts, per police logs. Did something pull him into the lagoon? Bryan's absence aches. At Renew Schools, he was joyful, swaying to music, per WDSU. His seizure medication left behind was critical, per NOPD. Hilda's 2014 conviction, fracturing Bryan's head and legs, casts a shadow, per the Los Angeles Times. Neighbors saw her love for him, but fights echoed from their trailer, per ABC7 Los Angeles. X shares his photo, a boy in a red shirt, smiling. Was he safe at home? The lagoon's murky water feels like a tomb. The search intensifies. United Cajun Navy, Los Topos from Mexico, and volunteers from Mississippi scour canals, per NOLA.com. Bloodhounds trace Bryan's scent to the lagoon, then stop, per WWLTV. Drones spot nothing, airboats silent, per Newsweek. Surveillance shows Bryan alone, no strangers, per NOPV. A neighbor saw him wander before, always returned, per WDSU. Why not now? Hilda's past fuels doubt, per Newsweek. X asks, what happened in that water? Hilda's history looms larger. Her 2014 cruelty conviction, hurting Bryan as a toddler, sparks suspicion, per NOLA.com. She insists he was kidnapped, per Newsweek, but neighbors recall her volatile outbursts, per ABC7. NOPD searches her trailer August 20. Toys, a phone, no leads, per WWLTV. X debates, did she know more? Police find no foul play yet, per WDSU, but her 10 a.m. call, hours after Bryan's 5 a.m. exit, nags. Why the delay? What happened at dawn? The community fractures. Vigils draw 500 candles for Bryan, per ABC7. He was our heart, a teacher tells NOLA.com. Volunteers from Texas search swamps, per WWLTV. NOPD's delay, a system error, per Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, sparks protests, per Los Angeles Times. X fumes. 5 hours cost him. Hilda's TV pleas, once moving, draw scrutiny. Was she hiding something? The lagoon's stillness feels cursed. Investigators press harder. Surveillance confirms Bryan at 6:30 a.m. near the lagoon, alone, per NOPD. The neighbor's splash report aligns with footage, per police logs. Hilda's phone, seized August 20, shows text to a relative at 3 a.m. August 14, per WWLTV. Why wait until 10 a.m. to call? Drones scan the lagoon, dogs circle, nothing surfaces, per Newsweek. Was it an accident or something darker? By dusk, Beaucaire Street is silent, vigil candles dimming. Hilda's past, NOPD's failure, and the lagoon's mystery choke hope. The splash, the delay, the empty trailer, they point to tragedy. Why was Bryan alone? What lies beneath the water? The truth's breaking, but it's colder than the night. August 26, 2025, New Orleans East, Louisiana, is shattered by grief. 12-year-old Bryan Vasquez, nonverbal and autistic, vanished 12 days ago from his Beaucaire Street home, last seen on surveillance near a lagoon 200 yards away. The New Orleans Police Department's 5-hour response delay sparked fury. Hilda Vasquez's 2014 cruelty conviction fueled suspicion, and a neighbor's 6 a.m. splash report deepened the mystery. Now, a grim discovery unveils the truth. Every detail is drawn from NOPD reports, NOLA.com, and WWLTV. The lagoon speaks, but its answers are haunting. Village de l'Est mourns. Bryan, seen on doorbell footage at 5:20 a.m. August 14th, wandered in an adult diaper toward a canal, then a lagoon by 6:30 a.m., per WDSU. His autism drove him to wander, per Hilda to Newsweek. On August 26th, a United Cajun Navy drone finds his body in that lagoon, 200 yards from home, per WWLTV. X erupts. He was so close, one user posts. NOPD failed him, another fumes. Vigils swell, candles burning for Bryan, per NOLA.com. The NOPD's delay stings. Hilda's 10 a.m. 911 call, mislogged as a missing adult, delayed officers until 3 p.m., per Los Angeles Times. For 5 hours for a nonverbal child, Christine Rosales Fajardo demands to The Independent. X rages. Why no Amber Alert? NOPD cites no abduction evidence, per WWLTV. Hilda, sobbing on WDSU, insisted Bryan was kidnapped. The lagoon's discovery, confirmed by Orleans Parish Coroner's Office, reveals blunt force trauma from an alligator and drowning, per Newsweek. Was it just nature's cruelty? Bryan's light fades. At Renew Schools, he was vibrant, loving music, per WDSU. His seizure medication, left behind, was vital, per NOPD. Hilda's 2014 conviction, fracturing Bryan's head and legs, casts doubt, per Los Angeles Times. Neighbors saw her devotion, but fights echoed, per ABC7. X shares Bryan's smile in a red shirt. The lagoon's grim find, his body, crushes hope, per NOLA.com. Was he alone, or was there more? The search ends in sorrow. United Cajun Navy, Los Topos, and volunteers from Texas scoured swamps for 12 days, per NOLA.com. Bloodhounds traced Bryan to the lagoon. Drones confirmed his body, per WWLTV. Surveillance showed him alone, no strangers, per NOPD. The neighbor's splash report, 6 a.m., aligns with his death, per WDSU. Hilda's past, hurting Bryan in 2014, casts doubt, per Newsweek. X asks, was it an accident? Hilda's shadow looms. Her 2014 conviction, breaking Bryan's legs, prompts NOPD to seize her phone August 26, per NOLA.com. Texts from 3 a.m. August 14, he's gone again, show she knew Bryan wandered, per WWLTV. Why wait until 10 a.m. to call? She claims kidnapping, per Newsweek, but neighbors heard shouting at 4 a.m. per ABC7. No foul play is confirmed, but NOPD probes her history, per WDSU. Did she fail him? The community breaks. Vigils draw 600 candles for Bryan, per ABC7. He was our joy, a teacher tells NOLA.com. Volunteers, exhausted, mourn at the lagoon, per WWLTV. NOPD's delay, a system error, per Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick, spurs an internal probe, per Los Angeles Times. X rages. 5 hours killed him. Hilda's pleas, once stirring, draw suspicion. The alligator attack, confirmed by coroner, complicates the case, per Newsweek. Was it nature or neglect? Investigators close in. Surveillance confirms Bryan at 6:30 a.m. Lagoon's Edge, alone, per NOPD. The splash report aligns with autopsy, blunt trauma, drowning, per WDSU. Hilda's phone shows no calls pre-10 a.m., per WWLTV. A neighbor heard splashing and yelling, per police logs. No arrests, but NOPD calls it an unclassified death investigation, per NOLA.com. Why was Bryan alone? Why the delay? The lagoon's truth feels incomplete. By dusk, Beaucaire Street is silent. Vigil candles gone. Hilda's past, NOPD's failure, and the alligator's bite bury hope. Bryan's smile, the splash, the empty trailer, they haunt. Was it an accident or something darker? The water's truth leaves a chilling question.